Painting the snow during the day might seem simple until you actually start. Suddenly, the shadows look too dark, the highlights look too flat, and everything feels off. But don't worry, I got you. Today I am painting a full snowy scene and sharing my top tips to help you make your snow look natural, vibrant, and full of life. Well, hey there friend, welcome back to the channel. My name is Julian, and today in this video we are going to talk about 5 different tips to help you paint your snow better, more realistic, and with more depth and texture. All right, let's go. Last week we went on a family ski day and had so much fun. And on the way up there, I captured this beautiful scene with the bluebird day of these beautiful shadows of the trees on the snow. This scene has most of the elements of the tips I want to share with you, so I figured we would paint this. As I get this sketched up here, I want to share my first tip with you, and that is to not paint your snow all white. Now, I'm not going to go too much into depth on this tip because last week I made a whole video diving really deep into the different colors you can paint snow depending on the time of day and if it's overcast or the sun is out. If you did not watch that video, it will probably help you out understanding this video more. So go and watch that. I am linking it right up here right now at the right. And whenever you're done with that, come on back. I'll also link this video at the very end too. So if you want to just stick around now, that sounds good to me. To super summarize this tip for you though, white is not the color that you want to paint snow. If you do that, it is the quickest way to make your painting seem flat and lifeless. Again, I have a whole video on all the different colors that you can paint snow, but before we dive into tip number 2, let's go out to the field really quickly. Hey guys, so in my last video I told you guys, we talked about the color of snow and we talked about why snow appears white. And something I just want to show you out here is one thing that a lot of people struggle with painting snow is that they're trying to paint white snow in the shadow. But when snow is in the shadow, it's not white snow. It's a blue-gray snow. So whenever you're painting something, just see it for what it is. It's not white snow in the shadow. It is blue-gray snow. So as soon as you can just make that tweak in your mind and just paint it the color that you see it, it'll be so much easier. White snow. Gray snow. Not white snow in the shadow. Gray snow. Alright, so tip number 2 for this video, you guys, is to paint the sky darker. So typically, the sky is the lightest value in your landscape scene. But when you are painting the snow, especially during the day, the sky is actually going to be quite a bit darker in value than the snow. Especially with watercolor painting, the paint is going to dry a lot lighter than you paint it. So you are going to want to make sure to observe the value of your sky and paint it as it actually looks. Or it's something you can play with by pushing the value of the sky to make it even darker, which would mean that the snow will pop. Now, of course, this does not apply to really overcast days when the snow and the sky seem to blend together, in which case you are going to want to separate them out by texture, even though the value might be about the same. Tip number 3 is really just a practical one. Always make sure you are using super clean water when you paint snow. There is nothing worse than going to paint snow with dirty water only to make your snow green or some weird color that you were not intending. So tip number 4 is to not be scared of texture and detail. So obviously when snow blankets the landscape, it is pretty darn smooth, but as it sits there and things happen to it, you can feel free to add those broken edges, sparkles, footprints, or windblown texture. With this, you are going to want to experiment with different brush techniques to create soft versus rough snow, and pay attention to how the light catches small bumps to create a variety, and how the light and the shadows play to create a whole bunch of different patterns in the snow. So quickly, just on the note of the texture here, one of the things that people really struggle with painting is texture, which is totally understandable, but you have to paint it as you see it. So right here, for example, up close anyway, you would literally just be painting kind of spots, little areas, little spots of that purpley color for the shadows. And then as you go into the distance, perspective says that that detail goes away and smooths out. So if you struggle with painting texture, just paint it as you see it up close. That literally is just spots of purple. And finally, tip number 5 is to be aware of hard versus soft edges. So shadows on the snow are not always harsh. If it is a gentle slope over a hillside, for example, that shadow is going to be very, very smooth. And if you're using watercolor, that's a perfect opportunity for a wet on wet technique. However, when snow is going into a shadow, like in this painting here, where that tree casts this really stark shadow, that is going to be a really crisp edge. So just remember to paint it as you see it. If it is a soft edge, take extra care to make it soft and gentle. And if it is a crisp edge, then make it a crisp edge. If you were intrigued by the color mixing that you saw in this video, where I was really able to mix whatever colors I had on my palette to reflect what I saw in the painting, that skill is totally available to you. You can join me in my color mixing lab color mastery course, where I walk you through everything you need to know to become also a color mixing master. However, if you are not ready for a full course yet, I totally understand, and that's why I have a free webinar for you that is called 3 Secrets No One Tells You About Color Mixing, where you can pop in there and learn about some color mixing tricks to start applying today. And finally, I mentioned it briefly in the video before, but if you didn't see my video from last week on how to paint snow, where I walk you through all the different colors that snow is at daytime, depending on if it's overcasty or sunny, and in the evening, you are going to want to watch that video because it is going to help you understand a lot of the stuff that you saw in this video. You don't need to go anywhere for that video. You can just click on it because it is coming up right now.